Yeah, for sure. So, as an investor myself, as you can tell by my profile picture, I've noticed a lot of great execution throughout your journey. And what most don't realize really is how much preparation you've really put into the Fringe. So, I was wondering, Zeke, like, could you elaborate on this preparation and how it's gotten you to where you are today?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's the word I think I'm almost struggling with the word preparation because it's just been like, you know, months of trying things and seeing if they work. Half the time they don't, and then we try new things. It feels more like climbing a mountain where you're improvising near constantly. And I think like, you know, a year ago we had sort of been looking at this like, okay, NFTs are, I don't know, it's kind of like Kickstarter, but a little more involved. Where my once you actually enter the space, get into it, get your hands dirty. No, it's a new form of media. It's a new form of entertainment. It's so much deeper than just like, I don't know, a financing mechanism for what we're trying to do. And so I think I've spent the last 6 months learning this new medium. And I think I feel like I'm just getting my feet like, under me. And I think maybe where, I our project perhaps has a little bit of a different, flavor and vibe than others in space is that it's like it's being orchestrated by like a filmmaking artist collective, like a group of people who are used to like making a lot of stuff and building fictional worlds, and like that's what we're good at. And so we know how to do, the preparation for kind of interactive storytelling. We know how to build something really detailed, immersive, and engaging. And we've been doing that, but what's been new for us is how do we effectively use NFTs as a way to tell these stories? How do we, use like kind of community structures, Discord, to like, bring people into the sandbox with us and start, kind of play in this kind of radical new way. So I mean, it's definitely been a lot of, preparation. I spent like 10 years of my life making a space western, and The Fringe is a like continuation of that kind of unique vibe that we established with our first film, Prospect. So we're building off of Prospect, but I felt like I've spent, the last 6 months more kind of in NFT school.
Yeah, and I think, you said it the best too. Like, you guys were just experimenting a lot, and I think in a space like this too, it's very needed because I think what a lot of people try their best to do is be perfect at everything, and that can slow you down a lot in this space, especially with how fast paced. Like, if you think of one thing, there's already someone else doing that one thing, right? So, you guys are hitting on the nail on the head, honestly, and you guys have been. I mean, you guys have been experimenting, but you've been doing really well, in my opinion. The way you guys have been really handling the drops, the community engagement, and even just the community activation aspect of everything like that. A lot of experimentation, but it's been very fruitful in that sense. So kudos to you guys. I don't know if Richard or Steven, if you want to add anything on your thoughts from that.
Um, I think the one thing that I'll stress is just, yeah, I've noticed, the amount of content, and that's one thing, I think that many projects are really lacking, is all of that preparation. And I think it was really great. I see, a lot of connecting the dots. Like, you've been hard at work, doing this naturally. It wasn't even something that, it's like you had to gear up for this one moment. Like, this is something part of your natural journey that really, it looks like you've been working on for many years. And so I like how you connected the dots and, all of that great stuff. And I think, that's really a key, to, what we've really pulled from, and we've really even, discussed as a team and brought up to several other individuals that we've spoken with as an example of, what you should do. So yeah,
But I
love
think
it.
like on a high concept level, like really what we're trying to do is like take the creation process of a film and like turn it into like a festival, like turn it into a theme park. When we made Prospect, we kind of did it in a weird way that isn't the way most movies are made. It was a relatively low budget movie. We made it for under $4 million, and it's like all original production design, original spaceships, spacesuits, like everything you see on screen had to be created, and that's normally very, very expensive. But what we did is we kind of got this scrappy artist collective together, like up in Seattle, and we opened our own production design shop. Like we literally rented a old boat building warehouse and just had this like, group of really young, ambitious, people working nights and weekends to get this really original, film made. But it has like a much more like community centric flavor than the way most films are made. It's like we were just like a big family, like a group of friends that were all passionate about the same thing, not just kind of a bunch of, kind of gig workers or mercenaries coming together, which is how the film industry often is. And so it's kind of that ethos that has translated really well to Web3 because it's all about community building. And so what we've essentially done, is we put out all this visual art, we put out these NFTs that are, very much us stylistically, and it helps that we also have our film Prospect. And so people find us because they're into the same things we are, and they become part of the community, and then Discord, kind of enables this community to do really big and cool things. And so my hope as we go on is, and how this project will really make sense is if I can practically turn, the efforts I need to do to make a movie happen into things that are like fun, exciting, entertaining, and also empowered by this community. So, we're doing like, let me give some examples because that's kind of some pretty highfalutin talk. So next week, I guess we're launching our first like creative incubator. I have I can't spoil some things, so I'll have to be a little more vague. But that in this creative incubator, people are asked to imagine what exists in this fictional place we're in right now called the Scablands. It's like this desert on an alien planet. It's like what creatures are there, what plants are there. And it'll be this kind of big brainstorming session that's going to, I'll just say it's going to result in some NFTs. And in that process, though, we're going to like flesh out this fictional world, and I'm going to be able to pull from that when we make the film. Potentially an even better example is what we're going to do after our next mint. We decided to split our NFT collection into 4 different destinations. So our NFTs are primary collection are called drifters. They're characters. You can see them in our, profile pictures on this Spaces. And the drifters are going to be located in 4 different regions. So right now we're in the Scablands. We're in this like alien desert. But our next location is going to be the void, outer space, essentially the astronaut drifters. And when we enter the Scablands phase, the big thing is we're going to make spaceships. Like if you buy a drifter, you're going to get to come and build spaceships with us. And we'll go through this like elaborate world building and design process. But the final product of that is going to be like, really cool 3D models of spaceships, which then we can use in the movie and in, potentially future video games and all the other things that are being, made in the world. And so it's like, that's what I'm always looking to do is align. All right, yes, you have to create content, for the community. And it's really fun to do that. But then how can it serve, 2 things at once? How can it be something that we're doing as a community, but also directly benefit, the creation of the franchise in the film?